part of intense campaigning, talk about security preparations, political debates. Now it's time for the rhetoric to stop and for the ballot to speak. I am Ido Shekoni saying welcome to the program.
So, Yorùbá ní pé bí a bá dá ogún ọdún àpé bàbá sì dá ọgbọ̀n oṣù àpò òní ni ọjọ́ pé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun tí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ bíbí àti olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ó kóra wọn jọ láti lọ sí ibùdó ìdìbò láti yan gómìnà míì fún sáà lọ́dún mẹ́rin míì nípínlẹ̀ ọ̀hún tó mọ̀ tó kọ ìṣàkóso ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lẹ́yìn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìfigagbága ìpolongo ètò ìdìbò ìbò abẹ́nú ní ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú àti gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ lóríṣiríṣi láàrin àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú àwọn olóṣèlú àti àwọn tọ́rọ̀ ìhùn kàn lónìí ní gbogbo àwọn ọmọ bíbí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun àtàwọn olùgbé ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun wọ́n lọ sáwọn ibùdó ìdìbò wọn láti yan àwọn tí wọ́n tó jẹ́ aṣáájú pàápàá jùlọ ipò gómìnà bí nǹkan bá ṣe ń lọ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ó ní àwọn ọmọ fi tó yín létí ń bì lórí ètò wa tá a pè ní Ọ̀ṣun Pinnu láàárọ̀ ní ìkànnì BCOS TV àti àwọn iléeṣẹ́ ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ wa tó jẹ́ ti rédíò mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta kódà tó fún gbogbo àwọn ìtàkùn ayélujára wa lẹ́tì láǹfààní láti mọ wà bí nǹkan ṣe lọ láti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun pẹ̀lú àwọn tí àjọmọ́ fọ̀rọ̀ jómító rọrọ̀ àwọn tó wọ̀n nípa ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú àtàwọn tí nǹkan ń ṣojú wọn nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun bó ṣe lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí Ayọ̀rẹ́dé Ọlágòkè ló kọ ti tèmi bí èmi bá ṣe ń sọ fún yín ní èdè abínibí òun náà ni olùkọ́ mi òun ọmọ sọ ní èdè fúnnìfúntì ní èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ní tiẹ̀ a mọ̀ wo bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ láti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lórí ètò yìí ẹ̀yẹ́ sára wá nǹkan fìdílé kẹ̀mọ́ pòǹbẹ̀.
Exactly, Randy. Yes, so wherever it is you're watching us from, we're going to be bringing you this live proceedings, everything happening in Osun State. Whether you can tune in via our radio platforms, talk about Oluyole 98.5 FM, talk about Okiogun 93.6, and of course, Agility 92.1 FM. And of course, on online platforms as well, on Facebook and YouTube, you can join us and follow proceedings as they go on. Of course, in Osun State, you have more than 1 million registered voters, and these people will be deciding the future of Osun State politically for the next 4 years. It's a big one. I mean, 30 local government areas divided into 3 senatorial districts.
Gẹ́gẹ́ bí òṣèwé àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n kópa nínú ìdìbò yìí nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun wọ́n lé ní mílíọ̀nù kan gẹ́gẹ́ bí àjọ elétò ìdìbò lẹ́yìn ṣe gbé jáde pé àwọn tí wọ́n forúkọ sílẹ̀ láti kópa nínú ìdìbò ọ̀hún. Yàtọ̀ sí pé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun wọ́n kún wọn sí ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ 30 tí wọ́n sì jẹ́ ẹkùn ìdìbò 3. Tá a bá ń sọ pé ní bí wọ́n ṣe pín wọn ní tìjọba àpapọ̀ ṣe pín wọn. Àwọn ẹlẹ́kùnjẹkùn mìíràn wà tá a tún gbọ́dọ̀ gbéyẹ̀wò lọ́rùn ìdìbò nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Lára àwọn ẹlẹ́kùnjẹkùn tá a gbọ́dọ̀ gbéyẹ̀wò ni a gbọ́dọ̀ wo àwọn wo ló wà ní ẹkùn Ifẹ̀. Àwọn wo ló wà ní ẹkùn Ìjẹ̀ṣà. Àwọn wo ló wà ní ẹkùn Ìlá. Àwọn wo ló wà ní ẹkùn Ìwó. Àwọn wo ló wà lóṣogbo. Àwọn wo ló wà lẹ́kùn Ìkirè Mọ́gbọ̀ngán. Gbogbo àwọn
Ọlọ́run dá
àwọn wo ló wà ní ẹkùn Orígbó méjèèjì gbogbo àwọn kan wọ̀nyí lágbèyẹ̀wò lórí ètò yìí ní láàárọ̀ yìí torí ìbò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun òun yóò sọ fún wa bí ìbò ọdún 2027 lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà yóò ṣe rí.
Need an off-cycle election, of course. And I always say it, that when you actually feel that the warmth of off-cycle elections is an indication of what the main election will be like. And recently, you would agree with me that we have actually a whole lot of experiences that put some people under tension. Okay, just recently, I mean, just a couple of days ago, we had 2 people join, stepping down and throwing their weights behind Governor Adeleke. So there's a whole lot to look out for.
Báwọn kan ṣe ń fi ìfẹ́ hàn láti darapọ̀ mọ́ gómìnà tó ń bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn kan náà tún ń parapọ̀ mọ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú mi.
All right, so I think we have someone on the line right now, a voter right there at Unit 4, Ward 6, Okiofa, Bogo, in Osun State, talking about Alhaji Musa Zubair. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Great to have you on Osun Decides.
Happy to meet you too.
Great. So, what's happening right there, right now? What's the atmosphere like?
Well, I am Alhaji Musa Zubair, speaking from Ward 4, Unit 6. DC Okiofa.
Yes.
I got the government of Osun State.
Great to have you.
Here, the INEC officials came in time. They even met some security officers on ground. And everything is going on peacefully here as at the time of making this comment. No problem here. as at this moment.
So all election materials are already available. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and the voting has commenced.
Okay. What about the security presence there? What does that look like? Because we've been a bit worried. And some people, because of the heavy presence of security, might be,
The security
afraid
is
to come.
superb. Is superb. I can see some police officers equally as that is Nigeria. They are the civil defense.
Okay, NSCDC.
They are here too.
And people, what's the turnout like?
The turn-up is large. People troop out en masse for this civic responsibility.
So you're not seeing any sign that a heavy presence of security kind of deter or make some people afraid not to come out to vote?
No, the security here, they are not terrorizing anybody. No
Great.
intimidation here as at the time of making this report. Nothing like that.
Okay, there's been so much
They
said
are
up.
here protecting us adequately.
Great to hear that. And there's so much has been said about the feeling and the pulse of the people about this election. Now, looking at how you've just talked about things starting, do you see this taking a turn? Later?
Please come again. I cannot get you.
Some people have actually talked about the fact that there's a possibility of violence in this election. Now, with the pulse of things right now, where you are.
I cannot foresee any violence.
Okay.
But the security, they are not only here at this unit. Some of them move away from the polling unit, especially those of them holding arms. They moved away from the polling units to guide in case of any intruder.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zubai. I'm sure you want to participate.
I'm grateful.
Akójúmọ́ ọ̀gbẹ́ni Zubair.
Ẹ ṣé sà.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ níbo ni ẹ ti ń kópa nínú ètò ìdìbò àbí àmójútó ètò ìdìbò tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́ nípa àwọn ará délé?
Gbọ̀ngàn Olúfin ni mo wà báyìí ní Ward 6 Unit 4 Òkè-Ọ̀fà. Ibẹ̀ ni mo ti ń dìbò.
Níjọba ìbílẹ̀ Ayédáadé. Níjọba ìbílẹ̀ Ayédáadé.
Ayédáadé local government gbọ̀ngàn.
Látìgbà tí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìdìbò ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láàárọ̀ yìí, kí ni àwọn kan tí ẹ wòye sí? Bóò ni àwọn ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò, bóò ni wọ́n ṣe dúró tó láwọn ibùdó ìdìbò ìtẹ́ ìtìlé àdúgbìtẹ́ wà báyìí?
Níbi tí mo wà ní DC Òkè-Ọ̀fà tí mo ti ń dìbò gẹ́gẹ́ bí citizen, kò sí wàhálà, wọ́n ṣe dá ìtàbò dúró dà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ bí mo sì sọ̀rọ̀ yìí o.
Báwo ni ìṣọwọ́ṣiṣẹ́ àwọn òṣèlú ètò ìdìbò, àwọn nǹkan èlò wọn?
Wọ́n ṣe dáadáa. Wọ́n ń ṣojúṣe wọn bí wọ́n ṣe yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí.
Kò sì sí bóyá àwọn irinṣẹ́ kan ò ṣiṣẹ́ tó àbí kò ṣiṣẹ́ bó ṣe yẹ kó ṣiṣẹ́ láwọn ibi tí ẹ ti ń dìbò yìí.
Nínú àwọn tó ti dìbò láàárọ̀ yìí kò tí ì sí ẹni tó mú report yẹn jáde pé bóyá wọn ò lójú ẹ̀ capture ni or something like that. Irú ò tí ì ṣẹlẹ̀ ń bí sà.
Pẹ̀lú ìròyìn tá à ń gbọ́ níbi ìjẹta ìjẹrin àti bí nǹkan ṣe rí lágbo òṣèlú nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun pẹ̀lú ìkáyàsókè tó wà bóòlù àwọn èèyàn ṣe tú yáyá sí àbí àwọn èèyàn sì lẹ̀dí mọ́lé láti jáde kópa nínú ètò ìdìbò náà.
Àwọn èèyàn tú yáyá dáadáa ní gbọ̀ngàn especially níbi tí mo wà DC Òkè-Ọ̀fà níbi tí mo ti ń dìbò. Wọ́n tú yáyá gan, wọ́n pọ̀, apọ̀ ń bì.
Kí ni àfojúsùn yín lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìdìbò torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń nígbàgbọ́ pé ó ṣeé ṣe kí wàhálà padà bẹ́ẹ̀lẹ̀ pẹ̀lú bí nǹkan ṣe rí lásìkò ìpolongo àtìgbà tí ètò ìpolongo parí?
Àkọ́kọ́ náà, àwọn ọ̀bẹ Ọlọ́run fún wàhálà kankan bí.
Àmín.
Bẹ̀bí ó sì ń lọ yìí o, mi ì rí pé wàhálà kankan ṣẹlẹ̀ bí ilé nì. Bẹ̀t àmọ́ nǹkan tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ níta o, àsìkò tá a wà yìí o kò sí wa mí ìdẹ̀ rí sàpọ̀ ẹ̀ pé àwọn kan ṣetán láti dá wàhálà alẹ̀ náà àwa tá a wà ń bì. Àyàfi tí àwọn ọmọ gàfé kan bá wá láti ta lókù.
Ṣé ẹ rò wípé wíwà ń bẹ àwọn ikọ̀ ẹ̀ṣọ́ aláàbò tí wọ́n dìrà mọ́ra yóò lé àwọn olùdìbò kù láti jáde wá kẹ́rọ̀ mọ́mọ́ bà wọ́n?
Rárá wọn ò disturb wa sà rárá. Àwọn tó dìrà mọ́ra wọ́n ta kété sí wa ni àwọn ò sí ní field pẹ̀lú wa. Àwọn tí ń gáìdì kẹ́ní nìkan wọn ò dẹ̀ mú ìbọn dání. Àwọn èèyàn ò mú ìbọn dání so wọn kò sí wàhálà kan.
Ìjẹ́ oníròyìn nípa àwọn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ láwọn ìgbèríko tó jẹ́ abẹ́ gbọ̀ngàn ni wọ́n wà.
Me now for near. Because more concentrate if you more done. We talk about the elements on the man so in the more.
Thank you.
Alhaji Musa Zubairu ẹni ìgbọ́ wa Alhaji Musa Zubairu nìyẹn láti ibùdó ìdìbò ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹrin ní Òkè Ọ̀fà ní Ṣàngán níjọba ìbílẹ̀ Ayédáadé nígbà tí mójútó bí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìbò ṣe ń lọ láàárọ̀ yìí lórí ìjọba tó ṣe jẹ́ Alhaji Musa tí ẹ bá ní nǹkan míì láti jẹ́ ká mọ̀ tẹ ẹ fẹ́ káwọn aráàlú náà mọ̀ ẹ bá tẹ̀tì láti jẹ́ kí ọyẹ wa ọyẹ ṣe kò ní.
Thank you very much. Okay, the information reaching us right now says that the voting has commenced in earnest. So that means that we should be looking forward to, things really testing the preparations INEC has made so far. And right here in the studio already, we have IPAC chairman. Of course, he is Honorable Oyeyemi Akiade, the chapter, of course, of IPAC. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Point of question. Opeyemi.
Okay, apologies for that one. Okay, Opeyemi Akiade, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Ẹni yà agbára pẹ̀lú wa láàárọ̀ yìí lórí àwọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe sọ fún yín pé ètò wa láàárọ̀ yìí àwa àti àwọn tó ń nímọ̀ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìdìbò ọlájọmọ́ ìyànnàná rẹ̀ bí nǹkan ṣe lọ. Aláwọ̀ láti sọ fún yín pé alága ìgbìmọ̀ tó ń gba àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú nímọ̀ràn lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà IPAC ẹ̀ka ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ comrade àbíkẹ́ ìpọ́n ní ọ̀nàrẹ́bù Ọpẹ́yẹmí Akíndé àwọn ti wà nílé agbára pẹ̀lú wa láàárọ̀ akójúmọ́.
Akójúmọ́. Aku orílẹ̀-èdè Ajẹ́kúnwé. Aku ọ̀rọ̀lú.
Thank you very much for coming once again.
Welcome.
Now, before we delve into, focus on Osun itself, in Nigeria we run two different sort of elections, you can say that. Off-cycle and the ones that are actually on the main timeline. So, and oftentimes you discover that the off-cycle elections are like feelers for us as we look forward to the main, other election. I shouldn't say the main, but the other ones. Now, so much has happened leading up to this moment, and you recall what happened in Anambra State as well. It seems whenever we have off-cycle elections, there is so much tension. Don't you agree?
Yes, because the focuses of every Nigerian will be on that particular place that the election will be coming up, which is either wherever it is coming, if it's a by-election or whatever. The reason being that the government in power always want to get their people voted in that particular place. They believe all the power instruments in their corridor have to be used to get that place then elected for their people.
Is that really, I sometimes I feel, is that really decision, or is it that at that particular point in time because we have few, people and resources?
Not that we have the people. Like Osun that is going on presently, it's not that we have few people in Osun. We have a lot of people in Osun, but all the focus of all the political parties, all their strength, all their power is being focused on.
That's it exactly. So it's different from when you have the entire nation being released for the election.
You see, when we have the entire nation on the election, there is one thing that you guys to say, so everyone we want to focus on their houses, in their base, in their political arenas, not unlike where everyone will gather their strength on a particular place, like the one that is happening here in Osun presently.
Before I give this to my already, I have this, leading up to this particular day, we had a lot of issues. One, we had the EFCC freezing the Osun State government's account, and that generated a lot of uproar until the president stepped in, and the whole thing was reversed. And then we have two political parties, candidates stepping down and throwing their weight behind Adeleke. So, looking at all this, what kind of impression do you have? Should I say, what's your vision? Okay, what do you see happening right now in Osun State?
Well, you see, it has been part and parcel of every nation. Let me use that word. Every nation, in the sense that if you believe you want to contest or you are running for something and you think your opponent have a edge ahead of you, and you see if possible you dance to his or her tune, there can still be a kind of benefit towards you if the person emerge. So you know how, because the kind of election we normally do in this nation, not because people want to really serve the government. They really want to serve the nation. No, sometimes they want to serve the agenda of serving their cause is higher than the agenda of serving the people that want to elect them into any post. So that is why they want to use that. Okay, if there's no way here that we what is on ground now telling us that we cannot win the election, let's look out for someone that we can just give a support to, so that in the long run we have a kind of benefits from such a person. So I want to believe that those people that just stepped down, when they knew that they wanted to, why now? Why not earlier before now? That people have seen that yes, these people really know that they have accepted defeat from the onset. But because they know how they will not want to have tete discussion with whoever that they are stepping down for.
So they are
because their own benefits. So to me, I do always say it. Let me say 85% of our nation politicians do that because of their personal interest, not because of the people interest.
Wow, thank you.
Comrade Akínyàdé, ṣáájú ètò ìdìbò yìí ìbò ìyá ìbábà wa tán bí mo ṣe mọ̀ pé lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà àti láwọn ètò ìdìbò tó ti wáyé nípínlẹ̀ Anambra, nípínlẹ̀ Edo, nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì, nípínlẹ̀ Ondo, ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ó dàbí pé ìbò ìyá ìbábà tẹ̀ yìí ó fẹ́ yàtọ̀ sáwọn ìbò àdádì láwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí mo ti dákọ̀. Kí ló fà á tiẹ̀ tó fi rí báyìí?
Láti ayé àwọn bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀ láti máa rí wípé ẹ máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ nígbà tí a ṣì wà ní Odò Ọ̀yọ́ state. Ẹ rí i pé tí a bá ní ìbò kan àbí kejì nínú ìtàn tí àwa ètò bá nínú àwọn ayé operation wet, ẹ rí i pé àwọn àdúgbò kan wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun tó jẹ́ pé ó máa ń gbóná girigiri ni tó bá ti di káyọ̀ ní sípò kábùjẹ dùpò. Tàbá dẹ̀ wọ́n rí i pé àwọn àdúgbò tí ó jẹ́ flashlight náà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun tí INEC pè ní flashlight wọn, àwọn àdúgbò náà ara wọn ní Ìbílẹ̀ṣà. Ìdí tó fi nígbà kò fi taratara yé mi torí ti bá lóye mi lọ́nu mọ̀ pa, ṣùgbọ́n bóyá kí n sọ pé torí ìfẹ́ inú tí a ti máa ń fẹ́
Ìfẹ́ inú àwọn èèyàn
ìfẹ́ inú àwọn èèyàn yẹn ní àgbègbè yẹn ìfẹ́ inú àwọn èèyàn ní àgbègbè yẹn ní ọ̀gá látọ̀sùn kò jẹ́ kí n lè mọ ohun tó ń jẹ́ kókó ohun tí wọ́n fẹ́ ní àgbègbè yẹn tó fi máa ń sábà rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n àṣẹ ti Èkìtì lọ ní kò pẹ́ tí n bá dé ìgbàgbọ́ ni wọ́n ti pé mo sì wá sórí ètò yìí bí náà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Èkìtì dé. Ẹni pé tó bá jẹ́ pé bí ìbò Èkìtì ṣe rọrùn ni ó bá ṣe fẹ́ rí ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun náà ni ìbá sàn. Ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá wọn gbójú orí sọ ìtàkùrọ̀ gan kọ̀ọ̀kan tó ti wáyé síwájú ọjọ́ òní látara ìbò tó fẹ́ wáyé lónìí, ẹ rí i pé ó rí bákan. Then nínú ìròyìn omi tẹ́lẹ̀ tó wò tá a bá tó ní káwé dáadáa ẹ rí i pé àwọn aráàlú máa ń sábà sọ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọgbà wípé ààrẹ wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè tèmi ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu pé ọmọ bíbí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ni wọ́n. Tí a bá dẹ̀ wo ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú wọn kọ́ ló wà níjọba nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀, ó ṣeé ṣe kí ìtàkùrọ̀ gan náà tó fẹ́ wà pé ààrẹ fẹ́ gba ìpínlẹ̀ rẹ̀ padà sínú ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀.
Ká sọ pé tó fà á títí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun.
Ọ̀dà
ṣáájú inú ìdìbò yìí lásìkò tí ìpolongo ìbò ń lọ lọ́wọ́, oríṣiríṣi àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ní jáde látẹnu àwọn èèyàn sáwọn èèyàn ní bí ọ̀rọ̀ bíi mọ ọdún mọ̀wúrò. Sẹ́nitọ̀ Fádàǹsì ó pe ìpèdè kan ètò já rìnrìn ńlẹ̀ nítorí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìdìbò. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn kan náà dún mọ̀wúrò mọ́ra wọn láàrin ìlú. Àdìbò ó ṣe jẹ́ ká máa pe àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan tí ò yẹ ká máa pè síra wa.
Ìdí tí mo fi sọ ẹ pé mo ti kọ́ sọ síwájú pé ṣe rí ìṣèlú ó pín sí méjì lára àwa olóṣèlú. Sẹ́nitọ̀ Fádàǹsì tó sọ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí mo nígbàgbọ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ wà relevant ni kí wọ́n lè bá a sọ pé àwọn náà kó ipa takuntakun, ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí àgbàlagbà, gẹ́gẹ́ bí a lè pè wọ́n ní ògbóǹtarìgì èèyàn kan pàtó nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun látara ibi tí wọ́n ti ń bọ̀ síwájú kó tó di pé wọ́n bọ́ kakílẹ̀. Eléyìí túmọ̀ sí pé àwọn fúnra wọn wọ́n fẹ́ lórúkọ, wọ́n fẹ́ kí ẹgbẹ́ mọ àwọn tó wọ́n hàn Sẹ́dọ̀tọ̀ Fádànsì ó sọ̀rọ̀ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ó kó takuntakun lẹ́yìn tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé ó ń mú aṣọ àbùkù bá ètò ìjọba àwa ara wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí kì í ṣe owó èèyàn bíi tiwọn pẹ̀lú ipò wọn nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lẹ́ẹ̀kan máa gbọ́wọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn tí wọ́n bá tiẹ̀ ní lọ́kàn láti ṣe kò yẹ kó jáde lórí afẹ́fẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ náà wọ́n tó yí wọ́n ní artificial intelligence ni wọ́n fi gbé jẹnu àwọn sọ Ọlọ́run kó ṣàánú wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí ní àwọn irúfẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ kì í ṣe tó tọ́ tó lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ tó yẹ ká máa bá lẹ́nu irú wọn.
ọ̀dà nígbà tí alága ẹgbẹ́ IPAC nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ tí wọ́n ń fọ̀rọ̀ jomitoro pẹ̀lú wa ó náà ní míì nínú àwọn tí àjọ mọ̀ fi ẹ̀kẹ́ pé ọ̀rọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ bí lónìí ó náà ní ọ̀mọ̀wé Búsàrí Báyọ̀nlé tí wọ́n jẹ́ gbajúgbajà oníròyìn bákan náà wọ́n jẹ́ olórí ẹ̀ka ibi tí wọ́n ti ń kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ nípa bá a ṣe ń kàn sí rẹ̀ bá a ṣe ń bára ẹni sọ̀rọ̀ nílé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga LISTT nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn ọ̀mọ̀wé Báyọ̀nlé akójúmọ́
àkóòlù
akọ̀rọ̀lú.
bí a ti máa sọ ní orílẹ̀-èdè torí pé orílẹ̀-èdè aládùúrà lórílẹ̀-èdè wa ọlọ́run bá wa ṣe yanjú.
àmín ṣé kò ní.
Okay, so while the IPAC chairman was commenting on our questions, we had Dr. Busari Bayonle coming to the studio. He is a renowned journalist and the new head, Department of Mass Communication, Lee City University here in the city of Ibadan. Good morning and thank you for coming on the show.
Good morning, it's my pleasure to be with you.
Okay, so let's go ahead with the conversation. Now, what's your assessment of the preparations towards the Osun election?
Two parts. The first part on the election umpire, INEC. INEC is not new to this kind of exercise. It has carried out several in the past. More recently, the one we had in Ekiti State, which was very close to the one we're having today in Osun. So we will say confidently that INEC has had the opportunity to get its act together. On the other side, which is side of the gladiators, the politicians and political parties, we've seen what you've been able to do in terms of, telling us how to prepare the way for the election. And you see that what we saw more was more violence than issue of discussing issues. What we are going to do if we get there, we didn't have the opportunity of seeing more of that. The issue of violence absolutely robbed off the opportunity that people of Osun State will have had going to election today. The issues were not discussed. There were a lot of distraction. A lot of lives were lost, which was unfortunate. Because whichever way someone will win to this election, and if that person wins, the question that I've asked, would that person be happy? Will he go to his place of worship to go and do Thanksgiving? They ascended to office on the blood of innocent citizens of Osun. Would that person be happy? That's the question I think we should put before our politicians.
Okay. Will you still say that Nigerians vote for parties? Because we see what's happening, in Osun State right now. We see how those two people, from two different political parties, APM and, of course, yes, the name actually leaves me right now. Not Accord. Drew their weight behind Adeleke. So they are from two different political parties, but they decided to step down and throw their weight behind him. So the Nigerians still vote for political parties?
Constitutionally, by law, we vote for political parties. We've seen that in Rivers State. What brought in Rotimi Amici as governor? It was not the one that was on the ballot. Well, it was the one that was declared eventually by the court as the substantive governor of Rivers State. So that tells us that whichever way, we vote for political parties. But in reality, we're not voting for political parties. We vote for individuals. And that's why you see a party that is absolutely dormant will become absolutely active in the moment an individual moves into that party. So essentially, it's about personality, but by law, it's about political party. And that's what we have seen in Osun State. We've seen names, being propped up, rather than political parties, rather than, manifestos. We've not seen any of that. So all we see so far are the names. So, by law, political party, the reality is about individuals.
ọmọwé Báyọ̀lé ní ìmúrasílẹ̀ ètò ìdìbò yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìwé òfin orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ṣe là kalẹ̀ báwọn tó bá ti wà nípò ipò ọba aláyé òfin ọgbà wọn láàyè láti kópa nínú ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú ṣùgbọ́n nínú ìbò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun yìí a rí àwọn ọba aláyé yàtọ̀ sí ìlú táwọn tó jẹ́ olùdíje fún ipò gómìnà ti jáde tí ó ń kálukú wọn ń bọ́ta yanya wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ báyìí ni mo fẹ́ ojú wo lè fẹ́ fi wo bí ìdàgbàsókè ṣe ń bá ìjọba àwarawa lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà sáǹsúnwájú ni àbí àǹpadà yìí.
Tá a bá wò ó yàtọ̀ fún gbogbo àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ oríṣiríṣi tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́tún lósì à ń sún síwájú sórí pé nígbà tá a bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní 1999 bá a ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ kọ́ la wà lénìí ó túmọ̀ sí wípé nínú àìṣedéédé wa a sì ń gbé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ kan tá a fi ń lọ síwájú tó bá rí pé àwọn tí ó rọ̀ kàn gangan àwọn olóṣèlú wa tó yẹ pé wọ́n bá ṣe bó ti yẹ kán ṣe ó di dandan kó rí bó ṣe yẹ kó rí ó túmọ̀ sí wípé àìṣedéédé tá à ń rí abala àwọn olóṣèlú wa ló ti wá kó bá rí pé ojúṣe tó yẹ kán ṣe ìtọ́sọ́nà tó yẹ kán fún àwọn aráàlú tó máa ń ṣe fún wa ànírú àwọn kan tá à ń rí ẹ rí i pé tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́sùn àwọn aráàlú kọ́ ló ń bára wọn jà àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ló ń dojú ogun kọra wọn so tó bá rí pé wọn ò ṣe yẹn kò sí tó kan aráàlú pẹ̀lú pé ẹnìkan fẹ́ dìde ní tó kàn wọn ni pé kọ́ jáde dúró ọjọ́ ìní kán lọ dìbò táyì tó bá ń polongo kí wọ́n jọjú síbẹ̀ ká gbọ́n tó bá fẹ́ sọ ẹni tó ọ̀rọ̀ wọn bá tẹ́rẹ́ lọ́rùn tó bá lára mu wọ́n á ṣe tó yẹ kán ṣe fún wọn ṣe rí ti àwọn ọba láyé wa Yorùbá ti sọ wípé ipò àgbà kọ́ńgọ́ wá ṣẹlẹ̀ so àwọn ọba ṣèpàdé lọ́sùn wọ́n bẹ̀ fún òǹkò wípé ókè kó tó di pé wọ́n dìde so àsìkò tó wọ́n dìde fẹ́rẹ̀ pé kò fẹ́ẹ̀ nípa tó yẹ kó ní tó sọ̀rọ̀ ṣẹ́yìntàn fábàrùn sílẹ̀ nǹkan ilé ara ń tà ń sọ náà nìyẹn torí pé kó wáyé pé àwọn bàbá ti dìde nígbà tó yẹ kó rí tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ti dáwọ́ àkìrò wọn káwọn ẹni yìí ó yẹ pé ohun tí ṣẹ́yìn fábàrùn ti sọ tẹ́tẹ̀ wá ń padà sọ wípé bóyá wa ni tiwa ẹni tí wọn ò gbọ́ àwọn dáadáa ṣùgbọ́n nínú ipò Yorùbá yẹ pé ipò àgbàlẹ̀ ẹ̀ka bá gbà ẹni tó bá ti lè sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ kó lè dúró tọ̀rọ̀ tó bá sọ.
Okay, viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned. It's Osun Decides here on BCOS television, and it's my pleasure to announce to you that we have a third guest in the house, and he is Comrade Emmanuel Ogudiro, a public affairs analyst and, of course, one-time chairman of TUC. Good morning, and thank you for coming on the show.
Good morning, and good morning, our listeners at home, whether on the radio or on the television, because I was monitoring the radio while I was coming on, and I believe the reception was very clear.
Thank you for that.
So, I think people will not forget Oyo State. We follow them. We monitor things right on ground. And those that are who may not be able to be at home, monitoring from Oyo State will be listening to BCOS and they'll be giving you kudos.
ẹ ṣeun bí a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ náà ni ẹnì kẹta nínú àwọn tá a jọ fẹ́ fi ọ̀rọ̀ jomitoro lónìí lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tí ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun pàápàá jùlọ bí àwọn olùgbé àti àwọn bíbí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ṣe ń lọ sáwọn ibùdó ìdìbò lónìí Comrade Emmanuel Ogudiro tí wọ́n jẹ́ olójú lámìtọ́ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ń lọ láwùjọ bákan náà wọ́n ti fìgbà kan jẹ́ alága ẹgbẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ TUC náà rí nílẹ̀ yìí akínyìn ẹ káàbọ̀ ẹ kú gbogbo gbà.
ẹ ṣeun ẹ kú iṣẹ́ ìlú ẹ kú kétí ìlú ọmọdé ẹ kú káwọn èèyàn ó tún lè ní ìgbẹ́kẹ̀lé díẹ̀ nínú ètò òṣèlú wa pàápàá jùlọ àwọn tó bá jọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun tí wọn ò lè lọ lé torí pé bí mo ṣe ń bọ̀ orí rédíò yín lèmi ti ń gbọ́ mo sì ti rí i pé Ajílété ni o Òkè Ògùn ni o Olúyọ̀lé ni o ohun tí ń lọ lórí tẹlifíṣàn yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ ni wọ́n ṣe ń gbọ́ so ẹ sì tún ń pọ̀ látọ̀hún pé ìwọ́n tó ń wà lọ́hùn kí ní í ṣẹlẹ̀ sẹ́rí eléyìí ó tún jẹ́ káwọn tó bá jọmọ bíbí ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun tí wọn ò lè lọ yóò fi wọ́n lọ́kàn balẹ̀ wọ́n mọ̀ pé àfàákájà tí wọ́n rò pé yóò ṣẹlẹ̀ tàbí tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sẹ́yìn tó fi di pẹ́ẹ́mì ń bọ́ pé tó dìbò ó ti in fact bí mo ṣe ń gbọ́ àwọn ibi tẹ́ ẹ ti pè ń bẹ́ẹ̀ pé àtàkùmọ́sà ẹ̀mí mi ṣe kì ṣùgbọ́n bá àwọn gbọ́ tí wọ́n ti tò ó ṣe báyìí ìgbà tí ipac ní sọ rí pé sára àwọn Ìjẹ̀ṣà Ifẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀ṣà axis á ti mọ̀ pé látàyè báyé mi bẹ́ẹ̀ so adúpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ yín àwọn náà ń kí yín pé sàdánkátà yín pé ẹ̀ ń fi àwọn lọ́kàn balẹ̀.
Comrade Ogudiro ṣáájú ètò ìdìbò yìí ọjọ́ ìdìbò la máa ń kẹ́fín taborabo ṣùgbọ́n ṣáájú ètò ìdìbò eléyìí láti ń gbọ́dọ̀ ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì sẹ́yìn lóníkálukú ti ń ra àwọn olùdìbò pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí wọ́n ní nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun bó kí ni ìfojúsùn yín lórí tí ó jẹ́ àbájáde tàbùràbò nínú ìbò tí ó wáyé lónìí.
ṣe rí tí o bá ṣe ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nírú ìjẹta lánàá tí mò ń gbọ́ orin ìbò la fẹ́ dì àwa ọ̀jágún ìbò la fẹ́ dì àjágún ìyẹn tún then àwọn kan tún sọ pé ẹ máa ó gbé wá àjàrà búkà ìrẹsì àjàrà búkà búrẹ́dì àjàrà búkà tẹ̀ ń gbòkì ẹ máa gbé lọ àwọn ó dìbò di ṣẹ́rí kọ̀ bá jẹun wò pé olówó náà ní ọ̀rá torí ẹni ọba gbọ́jà kalẹ̀ olówó ní ọ̀tà fún ṣùgbọ́n bí àwọn nǹkan kan tó ń rọra ń jáde àmì gẹ́gẹ́ báwọn akẹgbẹ́ mi ṣe ń sọ tí mo bá ẹ rí i pé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tó ló ti wá wájú tí ò wá torí pé mo ti wá bí tí mo bá mo rí kábíyèsí kan tí ń bọ́ pẹ̀lú kan lára àwọn olùdíje kì í ṣe ń tọ́ dáa ṣùgbọ́n bò láti fẹ́ rí nígbà jẹ́ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ baálẹ̀ Yorùbá lónìí òṣèlú ló gbọ́ wọn débẹ̀ kì í ìfẹ́ ọ̀sábà múyàn mọ́ wọn ọ̀sábà gbọ́ ohun táwọn èèyàn ń wí mọ́ pé àwọn ni a fẹ́ nì ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó bá dá sí tó bá jẹ́ pé òun wà ní ìgboro òun ni àti mọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ti mọ̀ pé òun ni ó wọlé òun ni ó dọba irú ọba tí wọ́n bá yàn báwọn ṣé ọba bá tọrọ mu náà fi ṣé kò ní ti mọ ojú òbí ni so omi òjò ọyà wá lẹ́nu báwọn kábíyèsí kan wá ń lọ dúdú dàdàrà ká wọn ń ṣe kínní kì í ṣe ń tọ́da tí ẹ̀ bá ti dépò rẹ̀ ó ti di bàbá àbú ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n dà pé ohun táwọn èèyàn wá jẹ wọ́n ti sọ Dr. Busari tàǹgẹ̀ pé journalist of repute ni wọ́n ojú àwọn ti rí wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé tí wọ́n bá ti dépò kò tiẹ̀ ohun tó fẹ́ wọ́n débẹ̀ ọwọ́ á lè pọ̀ wọ́n tẹ́nì kíní bá wá ó ń gbọ́n kẹ̀lẹ́ rírí yọ ṣàdúrà fún mi lẹ́nì kejì wá ó ń gbọ́n kẹ̀lẹ́ rírí yọ ṣùgbọ́n kan wọ́n sọ pé lágbájá kan ò gbúdọ̀ wá tàmẹ̀dù kan ò gbúdọ̀ wá campaign níbi ọwà àwọn eléyìí ti kú lọ́ba ilé tí ń lọ ọba wọn ti ń lọ olùdíje náà jó tọ́lọ̀ bá ní olùdíje rẹ̀ ní wọlé ọba nínú òní wà lọ nígbà wọn bá fẹ́ wà lọ àwọn èèyàn ti wá gbàgbé pé ó gbóòdè pẹ̀lẹ́ nìkan ti ń jó so dókítà ti sọ bó ti yọ orí nìyẹn ṣùgbọ́n kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀.
Okay. Leading up to this election, there was a whole lot of preparations when it comes to security. Would you say the heavy presence of security operators is justified in this election?
Election is a civil matter. We're not supposed to have too much presence of security. But because the way Nigerian politicians have turned our body politic into a do or die, then there may be the need to fortify security. So it is only in Nigeria you see military involvement in civil matters. The police is there. The police should be enough. I was somewhere on certain Pura and I said, yes, about 40,000 security persons in Osun State. If it were to be a general election, will Osun State have the privilege of the presence of up to 40,000 when Nigerian police, including the 50,000 civil defense or whatever, they are all 280,000 in number. And we have 36 states. 774 local governments. Will a state have the presence of, why can't you do it the way you do when it's supposed to be general election? If Osun State should be entitled to 150 police involvement, give them 150. Because that will be what it will be when it is general election. It is just because this one is an off-cycle election. Should you now over-deploy? So these are the considerations that we are not being realistic. If we be realistic, this is the police this is the number of police that we have. Remember, majority of these politicians, they still have their police presence with them. Those will be out of the number that will be involved in manning or monitoring the election. And now, if Osun State will not have more than 80, don't give more than 80. If it is 80, then the way you manage that 80 during the general election should be practiced. That is when we know that it is a test run for the general election. But the way it is now, there are over deployment of personnel. And it is not telling us that we are being factual. It is not showing us that we are being realistic. It could affect, like where you have more than enough presence, even if they are holding condo, the fear of that uniform will be there.
Yes.
Some people will say, look, àwọn ọlọ́pàá ń bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ o, ojú kan ẹ̀pà, ojú kan èrè. You know the Yoruba traditional fear. Ojú kan ẹ̀pà, ojú kan èrè ni ọ bá delay, ó delay ti ń bọ̀. Whereas that vacant slot for that vote, Nigerian politicians, they know how to fill it. That's why I do encourage people to look, go and do your civic duty. Make sure your obligation is performed, your position is not empty, so that not one useless element will not be given a fake voter's card and with money. They will not fill your own position.
Mine keeps telling us that is no longer possible based on what they have.
They cannot look what is no longer possible. I can tell you with my experience, even in Oyo State, a lot of Oyo State is not going to election now. A lot of voters' cards are with the head of the Babalaja. They have purchased it. 10,000 naira, bring your voters' card. So by the time you want to go and vote, if you don't come, maybe somebody else. And if you come,
Sorry, before you go on, but this thing is factual because we hear this now. How do we substantiate
as a
that?
journalist, I'm not even supposed to be giving you this. You are, but because I'm a public affairs analyst, I'm an analyst, a regular analyst, I carry out research on my own. Occasionally, I go out, put my car on the road to do certain things.
Yeah. We also asked that when people are watching us.
They know I will pass somewhere and we will be moving just to get, because I cannot just come and say what is not.
Comrade Emmanuel Ogodiran, ẹ ṣeun fún àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí ẹ sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n bọ́ sọ́dọ̀ ọ̀mọ̀wé Búsàrí. Tá bá wo ètò ìdìbò tí ó wáyé nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun yìí, pàápàá jùlọ àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ dìbò tí ń wáyé lónìí nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun, àwọn olùdíje mẹ́ta gbòógì tàbá wò wọ́n lápá ibi tí wọ́n ti wá. Ẹtú olùdíje fún ipò gómìnà lábẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú APC ọwọ́ láti ìlú Ìkirè, olùdíje fún ipò gómìnà lábẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú Accord tó tún jẹ́ gómìnà lọ́wọ́ bá ọwọ́ láti ìlú Ẹdẹ, olùdíje fún ipò gómìnà lábẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú ADC ọwọ́ láti ìlú Ètìgbò. Ó lè dàbí pé wọ́n fẹ́ fì sí apá ibì kan ju àwọn ibì kan lọ. Ìjẹ́ ìlànà péré búre tíjọba àwarawa dá lé lórí, ìjọ fojú hàn nínú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun báyìí.
tí ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe bù tó bá yẹ pé a fẹ́ tọ̀ bó ṣe yẹ ká tọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ẹni tó bá ti dé orí àga kì í sọmọ Ẹdẹ mọ́, kì í sọmọ Ìkirè, kì í sọmọ Èjìgbò, ó ti di ọmọ Ọ̀ṣun, tó túmọ̀ sí pé ìjọba tó ń ṣe fún gbogbo ọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ló ń ṣe. It's just an accident of history that you are from a particular place. You must come from somewhere. Inú ilé kan ló ti gbọ́dọ̀ jáde. So bí tó ti jáde yẹn kó ló ṣe kókó náà tó bá ti dórí àga. Ìgbà tó fẹ́ yẹ̀ wọ́n torí pé bóyá ọdẹ́mọ ọba àbọ̀ ọdẹ́mọ ọjọ́ yìí láti fún ẹ ní wípé kó o síwájú wa. Rárá bí o ṣe pé wọ́n nígbàgbọ́ pé o ní kápá láti lè ṣe ìjọba kó ṣe yẹ kó o ṣe. Ṣùgbọ́n lọ́dọ̀ wa ń bí láti wò ó pé tí ọba jẹ́ lọ́sìn kan, ọgbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ lọ́yà kan, ọgbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ máa àdúgbò kan. Ọ̀dọ́ ni ti ń gbà yẹn nítorí ń fa òjú wípé a ò ṣe ìjọba àkóyawọ́. Tọ́wọ́ pé ìbá sì ìjọba àkóyawọ́ gbogbo ìtàkórógán ìjàgùdù pé ara wa ló gbọ́dọ̀ wà ń bẹ̀ kò ní sí. Tọ́wọ́ kan ní ìbàlẹ̀ pé ẹnikẹ́ni tí ìbáàrí kó wà ń bẹ̀ ẹ̀tọ́ mi gbọ́dọ̀ mi. Ṣùgbọ́n a ti gbé lórí pé táwọn àdúgbò ọba tí ìdẹ́bì kan ẹ̀tọ́ àdúgbò wa ò ní débẹ̀. Ẹni tó ń fa bí ìlàkàkà olóṣèlú láti dẹ́pọ̀ ara àwọn tó ń kọ nìyẹn. Tọ́lá àwọn ibi tó ń gbé wọn tẹ́ wí ọmọ wípé àtìgbàlá ti ń ṣètò ìdìbò Ogun State ẹnu kò tí wọ́n láti yé wa. Owó kíni ẹni ṣe pẹ̀lú pé ó fẹ́ ṣe ìjọba ní Yorùbá ní ọ̀dẹ̀dẹ̀ àní dídìbò àwọn òdèbí tó bá tó dáadáa kò ní tó ti lè gbé wípé ó yá ọjà mẹ́kẹ́ tó bá wípé ó bá lágbára àti ṣèlú èyí ò gbọ́dọ̀ ká máa lò yẹn kò ń ṣe kó wáyà bó bá gbọ́dọ̀ àti jáde wá lóòótọ́ ilé ilé àwọn ènìyàn bá sọ ká tó sọmọ lórúkọ ìdílé tá a ti wá nípa nínú ìdánilúwàbí wa ṣùgbọ́n ìyẹn kọ́ lọ́yẹ ká gbé síwájú bí kò ju pé èyí tá a fẹ́ ìdánwò ní ìkápá àti lè ṣe fún wa èyí ni olùkọ́ pé ẹ̀ka lò àti ilé ẹgbẹ́ lóde ìwé kó ti wá gẹ́gẹ́ bí ó fa ọmọ yìí kalẹ̀ ó ti gbọ́dọ̀ lọ́nà tí wọ́n á tọ̀ láti pé tá a bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ síwájú pẹ̀lú ìkúnlẹ́yìn ẹgbẹ́ yóò lè jáwé nítorí nínú ètò ìdìbò táwọn ẹgbẹ́ yẹn bá ń wò gbogbo à ń parọ́ ni à ń sára ẹni lọ́gbẹ́ èmi ò kó yóò wáyé mọ́ ṣùgbọ́n a ti kà wípé tí lágbàdo ọba débẹ̀ ní ìyàn wa jẹ ni torí pé tí òun náà bá débẹ̀ tán àwọn ará ilé rẹ̀ náà yóò máa tí wọn yóò máa ṣe ilé ìjẹ́ táwọn tí ò sí lọ́dọ̀ wọn wọ́n á kà wípé ìyànjẹ ló jẹ́ wípé ọmọ agbègbè wa ò tí ì débẹ̀ tẹ́ ẹ bá fàpẹẹrẹ káwọn ọmọ iléeṣẹ́ ò tí ì jẹ gómìnà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun rí ṣé gbogbo ilé tí ń bẹ iléeṣẹ́ àdúgbò fáyàn kankalẹ̀ ebi ní ilé kan ló ti wá àwọn agbègbè yòókù tó wà ní iléeṣẹ́ nǹkan sọ́dọ̀dọ̀ wọn ká débẹ̀ ká ṣe tó tọ́ èmi ìpínlẹ̀ ẹ̀ kó ṣe kókó ju pé káwé gbogbo ní lágbájá ti wà lọ.
Okay, so Mr. Bayonle, I'm Dr. Bayonle. A lot of people feel, that because Governor Adeleke is from Ede, he's bound to get more votes from the particular area, okay, as against other areas. So do you think the party system still plays a role, in our politics?
Look at the 1993 election that we had. MP Abiola defeated Bashir Tofa right in front of his house. That is election. It's not a matter of he's one of us. If he's not going to perform, why don't we look somewhere else so that you don't regret at the end of the day that we thought he was going to perform because he's one of us. See what he has done. He has turned out a failure. You begin to regret. You should always be looking out for the best. That's why it is called a contest. Contest means you have a choice to pick, to select. And if you don't select, if you don't pick rightly, what follows is regret. And when it's time to change that person, it becomes a do or die affair. Because if you want to entrench himself, if someone has not performed, you want to do everything possible to remain in office. But if he has performed, he will know out whatever he has done. We say, okay, this is what I've been able to do, and I could do more. I will feel that it's time for me to go. Why don't I? But because majority of our politicians do not have a second address, that's what the young to remain not by whatever means. It's not something I go back to. What is it in serving people? Do your bit and leave. You can't be there forever.
So let's come to Honorable Akade. Of course, you were here when we spoke to someone on ground in Boga, and you spoke of the fact that that particular atmosphere there was wonderful, calm, security presence, but everything is going the way it should be. Even voter materials, are right. Election materials are right on time. Now, that's an area I could say, okay, is a bit eyebrow, okay, compared to other rural areas there. So, would you say that you expect the same in rural areas, far to reach places, especially when you consider the fact that transparency in our elections is oftentimes hinged on the IRF portal? Okay, so with the amendments and everything to the Electoral Act and all that gives it more strength.